FNAF has had a lot of changes, but not all of them go noticed. Some remain in the shadows, ever elusive from the light that is the internet, because you know, there's no reason to not have any form of darkness on YouTube. It doesn't exist, right? Yeah, right. Greetings gamers and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm Connor Monroe and this is the top 10 secret FNAF changes you didn't know about. Let's do it. An intense glam rock wardrobe swap. This is something I didn't notice until I went into the comments of the first Security Breach trailer. In summer of 2020, Funko leaked the designs of the action figures for Security Breach, thus leaking the designs of the animatronics. People were pissed about this, obviously, since Scott had specifically told Funko not to release anything. At least we figure, because, you know, he's Scott. I don't know if he made a post about it or something like that. Why does Funko leak literally everything? Everything possible, they leak. They're like Walmart. Anyway, the design of the characters from the gameplay trailer are actually different to those of the action figures released. This is most notable on Roxanne's clothes, where Scott moved the black star shapes, and on Monty's guitar, where he removed or made the black stripes smaller. Chica's guitar is also a lighter blue and mostly white, as opposed to the white and a darker blue of the original action figure. And the animatronics in the trailer are properly proportioned. The action figure heads are weird, okay? They creep me out. At least if these weren't preliminary designs. And at 9, lives. I think the one thing that would have changed everything is if FNAF had a life system. Sure, you can go back and do it again after you fail night 5, thanks to the continue button, but I think lives would have made the game worse rather than better. Part of the appeal is that you have one shot, and while yes it saves what night you're on, you still need to restart that night, and I think that lives would have taken away from that. Even though it's basically the same thing, but also not. Unless the lives would let you continue the night that you were on. Like, if you got jump scared at 5 AM, you'd still be at 5 AM until you ran out of lives, which would also kind of break the game, unless it was meant to be, like, if you run out of lives, you have to go back to night 1. Especially if you use the glitch where you can continue the jump scare for a long time while still continuing the night, until eventually you die unless you beat the night by continuing the jump scare. With the system it currently has, lives are redundant, but we know that this was planned thanks to gameplay that was left on Scott's YouTube channel from the development days of the first FNAF game. I can't believe this game has gone from a last-ditch attempt to being featured next to God of War, Call of Duty, and more in the PlayStation 5 event last year. That's incredible. Good job, Scott. And at 8, Mangle Event. FNAF VR introduced the vent repair minigames featuring Mangle and entered in some of the scariest experiences I've been through. I've played through the Mangle Event repair from that on this channel, and it is quite a terrifying experience. Now, despite my idiocy in that video, dealing with 3 vents was fairly simple, since they open one by one. However, it was actually planned to have another vent at the top of the elevator. Every time you see that opening, you think, oh man, is Mangle gonna pop out there? But the thing is, it could have. Mangle was planned to have a 4th entry point this whole time. Can you imagine how rude of an awakening that would have been if nobody had noticed it? And how incredibly, utterly terrifying it would have been if that was implemented. Mangle would have had the high ground, and I would be screaming, I hate you. I am 100% certain that would have caused a lot more deaths. I know that I would have died if Mangle could have come in from the top. Imagine if it was behind you though, and like you'd have to like spin around 360. Oh my god, or all 5, especially in Blacklight Mode. And at 7, a mobile Freddy. The original FNAF that Scott had in mind is not at all like the one we know today. Well, it is in the sense that it is what he wanted to make, but so many ideas and mechanics were added and changed that while we know FNAF is a point and click that gets progressively harder, adding more animatronics later on in a playthrough, that wasn't what Scott had planned at the beginning. In a statement that was most likely released on Reddit, Scott revealed that he had originally planned to make Freddy only jump scare you if you ran out of power, and that he never wanted him to leave the main stage. Eventually, this changed, and we'll never really know why. Perhaps it was because the game was too easy, or he wanted to see how things would work with 2 animatronics in the same hallway, or perhaps he had Freddy moving around but got jump scared randomly and kept it, or he just wanted to torture us like the sadistic fool we all know him to be. Why do you do this to me, Scott? Why? I'm just kidding, please notice me, Sky Daddy Scott, please. Imagine if he didn't move and we were just waiting the whole time for him to move. And at 6, Blacklight Mode. You may have seen the Blacklight animatronics if you pay attention to the FNAF merch. They released Blacklight plushies and pop figures a while ago without any real explanation. Well, as it turns out, these alternate colored animatronics are actually for Help Wanted's Blacklight mode, or hard mode, whatever you want to call it. You don't actually get to see them unless you boundary break, since the animatronics are hidden behind curtains that don't open in Blacklight mode, but they are still there. This is closer to the top because they weren't, like, totally like changed, but you can't really like interact with them or whatever, even when like close up. And they're even in the blacklight repair modes, but you can't really see them because it's all so goddamn dark. Chica's blacklight mode, Bonnie's blacklight mode, they're all the blacklight colored animatronics, but you can't actually tell. So yeah, I still kind of wish I got those pop figures. I still want like a glitch trap, and I want like an actual glitch trap. And I should have gotten the pop figures when they came out. They're worth so much now. Halfway through, in at number 5, the box. The infamous box was first released with the ending of FNAF 4, saying some things are best left forgotten for now, but we never knew what was in the box. However, the community seems to think that the contents of the box have changed. Originally, it's believed to be dream theory, since originally Scott said the community may not accept it that way. However, recently there are multiple theories, like that it contains the body of Crying Child, similarly to how Charlotte was found in the 4th Closet novel. But it's also been rumored to be revealed in the new Security Breach teaser game, like the side-scrolling beat-em-up brawler one. Yeah, I can't find any source that confirms this, however, so if anyone has any links about that, please send them to me on Instagram. Don't put them in the comments, because YouTube will probably automatically delete those. And at 4, cameras. The beta for FNAF was full of unused or cut features. Some of these things were interesting, like the original camera map. Well, now we see boxes that indicate the rooms that the cameras were located, and lines leading to other rooms, which are hallways and stuff like that. Originally, we saw the entire layout at once, and we could actually see the directions the cameras were facing, showing us what we'd really be looking at. I can see how this would be useful, but since the gameplay is more of a slideshow-esque format, instead of the animatronics free roaming, like how they do in FNAF VR, we don't really need all that information. And the design we know and love today really keeps it simple and is really all we need. They'll end up in one position on a camera, or they'll be in another, and knowing the direction doesn't really matter if that's the case. It would have been interesting for sure, and may have changed the game, but it's unnecessary unless the characters walked around all willy-nilly, like I said, like they do in FNAF VR. I mean, they don't walk around willy-nilly, but you can see them walking this time. Maybe then it would be useful, but like, I don't know. And at 3, rogue mechanics. If you're an avid fan of the channel or the Ultimate Custom Night, you may already know this detail, but in fact the mechanics for a few of the characters changed after just one day. Nightmare Freddy, Phone Guy, and Foxy were all implemented on April 1st with their behaviors based on wrong theories, basically disproving them at that moment and torturing us and William with them. Phone Guy couldn't talk while Springtrap was on the move, because he can't be in 2 places at once. Nightmare Freddy would wake you up from a nightmare for a bit before pulling you back to sleep and back into the game, and Foxy would come help you out by blocking a doorway. Neat ways of disproving theories, but really, Scott, you had to go with the whole Foxy is a good guy theory, and that's the one that you wanted to disprove, not something like really impactful. That's kind of a troll if you ask me. The next day though, the mechanics were switched to what they are today. So yeah, I don't know if you can still access them or not. Maybe if you change your date on your computer to the day that they were that, I don't know. I doubt it. It was an update, so. And ultimately in at number 2, co-op mode. Believe it or not, FNAF is actually going to include a co-op mode, well, at least in Help Wanted. In the game files, there is a folder called Multiplayer that has several files stored within it. These files are named like Character Info Table, MP Game Mode, and so on, suggesting that there was a multiplayer mode actually planned for release. But it's now unclear whether it will be entirely scrapped, saved for a future update, or implemented into Security Breach, because, you know, Fanny has all your friends. Maybe some more of them other than Gregory escaped. What would a multiplayer mode look like? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Would you play it? Let me know below. My theory is that the multiplayer mode may have been used for the trailer of FNAF VR, since you can see the hands and the head of the person playing, but maybe it's something more. Maybe they were testing stuff out for Security Breach. Why wouldn't they remove those files from the game? And like, why would they call it multiplayer if it was just for a trailer though? You see why I'm confused? However, if you want to play multiplayer FNAF, you can by using custom VR chat maps. I don't know how to work custom VR chat maps, but like maybe I can figure it out and do like a group meetup thing, like on my channel or something. Like maybe I could make a map, like live stream on like my Twitch or something, I don't know. It sounds complicated, plus you don't need a VR headset to actually play VR chat. There is a flat mode version, and like the entire game is free. It's the same thing, you just download VR chat, you don't have to have a headset for it. So like you can do this with your friends, literally right now. Like go open Steam, download VR chat, figure out how to work custom maps, and you're good. You can go play FNAF in multiplayer. Finally, in at number 1, the end. The FNAF story we know and love, but also rage out on a daily basis. Wait. That's just me and MatPat? Sorry to assume. Well, the complicated story that makes me cry myself to sleep actually could have been a lot simpler and to the point. 3 games, 1 story, that's right. In case you missed it in previous lists, the FNAF story was only meant to be 3 games long, with William dying in the FNAF 3 fire. However, the community thought that the Springtrap jump scare was disappointing, so Scott overcorrected in FNAF 4 with the nightmare animatronics. But then we got more confused, so he continued. The story could have been 3 games long. Maybe even no book, no movie, no Fazbear Frights. Yeah, that's insane. It's incredibly nuts to think that this 9-game long story could have been just a third of that length. No AR game, no VR game. Goddamn, that just makes me rethink my whole life. Like, is this really what the channel should be covering? I could be talking about Skyrim right now. I love Skyrim. It's my favorite game. Why don't I do that? No one would click it, that's for damn sure. There we have it, friends, the top 10 secret FNAF changes you didn't know about. These are freaking crazy. Imagine if FNAF had lives, or a multiplayer mode, or if it was just 3 games. God, thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. It's 8 p.m.